Alright, hey everyone, it is Umber here, and time to talk about a new thing coming to global this week, which is Astrius, or Astoria as he is called, or Alstoria. There's actually been a few names floating around, because, you know, the Romanji translation of, like, the Japanese name can sometimes be a little, sometimes we put little tweaks on what we want to call the character, but, yeah, let's for the sake of simplicity and hopefully I won't get this name mixed up too many times, but Astrius. Let's just call him Astrius for the sake of this video. Naming conventions be damned, and just talking in general about what this unit is, how good he is, because I've talked to death about this unit, like really so many thousands of times. I've talked about this character, and this is not the right party where let's head down to my water party. I've shown this off tons of times. This is essentially the team I've been running on pretty much any farming content, more so recently than even just my regular mage team, because the mage team has been getting a little bit stopped. From time to time, characters are dying just because of map setups and whatnot, and it can be frustrating. It can be really frustrating to end up, just not being able to auto stuff that you don't want to be there constantly. And this team has just done wonders in PvE, and two of the characters have been absolutely fantastic in PvP. I have shown, like, for months, it feels like, content of Astrius. My streams are constantly using this character, and there isn't just really anything I can say other than how good he is. And yeah, I mean, I've just talked him to death. Like, if you don't get it by now that I think he's just the strongest character in the game, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. I mean, and of course, it's always dependent on content. If you look at Ultima ratings and whatnot, those are BS and usually just focusing on what content is available at the time, not necessarily what is good. But overall, out of all the characters I've ever had in this game, and I've had quite a few of those characters, by the way, there's very few that I've ever had unquestionable, like, wow, I don't feel regret about spending a ton of resources, or I just haven't got enough value out of this character. Water has definitely been that. I got really sick, I want to say, sometime last year of the whole light and dark thing, even when light and dark wasn't necessarily the worst, and light became so popular and dark has become so popular that I really was looking for an element to just stretch out. And water already currently had farm, already had glassy, regular glassy, and was kind of just my favorite element. Also got a really cool selection quest character, which is a benefit. I mean, like, there was a lot going for water, but water never had that one character that really elevated it, because yeah, Celeste was good, and on the JP side, especially against like whatever we had for mages, there was just no mages just disappeared for a while. Or if you did end up against them, it was easy wins kind of thing. And yeah, but Astrius is the missing component of water. People have always said, oh, if water had a really good 100 cost character, the element would be very strong and in a very good position. And that's essentially what this character is. As you can see, I've had mine built for a very, very long time, run him as just his primary job. Because even if, like, he does have some good stuff, potentially with Battle Axe or Sniper, it fits him in with different characters depending on how you do it. Both are completely legitimate. I just run him as his primary because it's okay. He really has just a good selection of tools already in his main kit that he really don't necessarily want. Look, there's an ability I haven't actually maxed out yet. It's fine. That's just the basic. Just say that wasn't. I forgot about it. And even then, I still run this character all the time, and he wins fights for me. But he has such a good kit that it feels a little kind of sad when you actually have to put on one of his sub jobs. Not because you can't get more value or more attacks out of it or anything like that. It's just, it kind of focuses him away from what is currently already good of just casting guts, and then he gets AP reduction, and he's just dealing so much damage, and he's hard to kill and everything like that. And yes, Astrius versus Astrius, Esther, blah, blah, Ibarra, I don't give a shit. For everyone out there who's just going to comment in this video, well, Ibarra exists and lightning units exist. Well, shit, man. That's the way you guys look at the game, then it's probably not worth getting any units. Because there's always going to be a counter. That's the way it should be. But he is still just really good in all facets of content. He is, if you are just starting the game, one of the best characters to get, period, for your new account, just because he'll carry you for a long period of time. As a matter of fact, if you got him, Black Witch Helena, and, you know, Ziza for her TMR and whatnot, you're in a really, really good spot, even without some of the other. And water just becomes a little bit of a luxury element of like which combinations, because water will essentially always be a really great chaining element. You have Glassy, Farm, Astoria, plus the selection quest character. You just have a lot of water right there. And that's, you know, not assuming that there's going to be better stuff in the future too. But, you know, Aerith is definitely a great addition. I've seen people run Astorias in all kinds of combinations because he's just such a good character. Like, people run him with June, people run him with Celeste, people run him with any tank, people run him with Mont, just because he's good in anything. And potentially, you know, with the Jack Frost doll that is coming up really close, quickly to global, you can even make him kind of good in the exact mirror, where he has a little bit of more slash and water resistance. I have mine on Celeste right now, but still kind of drives home the point of what you can do. And yeah, I mean, like, there is just so many reasons I love this character. You can talk about the fact that I was looking for a really good partner for Farm, who was kind of just, you know, middling, sort of good, but kind of really needed a friend to make her even better, and that helped. You can talk about the fact that the addition of, where is it? I think I changed this party specifically for, what's it called? But like this, you can add this card, which gives accuracy against evasion type characters. And this makes him just also really good. Like, the only reason I'm running that is because it was against a Gilberry, where we're trying to do as much chaining damage as possible. But, you know, you throw this in and you have tons of AP, you have tons of strength. You look at this party stats from top to bottom, and it's just really good what's happened recently. Water has access to a lot of great vision cards, some that are not even necessarily like limited time, which is a big issue with a lot of elements. You think of building wind, and, you know, potentially you need the 2B card or the Tifa card. Neither of those are available right now. And, you know, they were just available on global, I guess, recently. Still, you look at Siren, you look at the Astronomer's card, you look at the Miranda card, you look at the what's her name? But you look at all these vision cards, and there's so many of them that are not limited time, which means that you have access to a lot of great vision cards constantly. You can switch them out, potentially to get a little bit more, and stats across the entire board in party are just really, really, really good. So yes, you will have problems with Thunder Elemental stuff, although I have run it against, you know, potentially weaker things, and it performs well. It performs well against the really slow stuff, and it performs well against the really high stuff. It's one of the, it's just a team that I can constantly feel very confident that no one is going to die and that I'm not going to have any issues, which is great because it puts my mind at ease at the end of the day. And yeah, story content isn't exactly the hardest difficulty stuff, but I'm just throwing it in there for the sake of this. So Astrius, I mean, there's a lot of great characters coming up if your account is specifically element balanced, or you're potentially focusing on a certain element. Then, you know, you might pass on Astrius. There have been a few repeat banners in the future, but if you're going all in, go all in on this one banner, just get him. Even if you did have to go all the way to pity, I do think he's just so good that it's absolutely worth it. And there's not a ton of characters I would really just honestly look at people and say, oh yeah, totally worth the pity. I mean, it's just pity is such a hard thing to ever say, oh yeah, it's good, don't worry about it. But incredible range, flexibility, even some of the AoEs that you would look at initially and say, well, how can that be good? How can his, the cross X attack? You'd be surprised how many times. I mean, it has a good range, and the fact that he, it works out more often than you think to actually get multiple. But yeah, you can create such a strong water team that it almost feels like 0 damage. Great in guild wars and guild battles. Water has, I think, enough going for it in terms of accuracy that it can compete against light evasion. It's not as cut and dry as something like dark or coming up really quickly, the earth element, where you can shut down counter abilities way easier because some of the newer characters just have that. But that being said, you know, Farm also has some neat abilities, some quick movement and everything. Great tank, great healer available to it. And all of that just points to a really good, solid element. And the other thing I really want to highlight that's kind of special here is that Astrius is kind of a male character. We see lots and lots of female characters in this game constantly. And to see a character that's so top tier, that's so high quality, that lasts for such a long time for me on GP, that's actually male, who has a cool design, and just you know, I just recommend him. Like, shut up, Umbra. You've said too much about this. He's a great character. People should go try and get him. Is he a must-have? You know, like, looking at characters, everybody kind of has their own opinion about what is a must-have for characters. Like, some people say, oh, you know, Elena, she is just, or Elena. Did I say Elena? Helena. You know, Helena or Elena is a mandatory character for people because, you know, this one's so good at farm, this one's just so strong. Some people say that, you know, Oberyn is incredibly good, kind of thing, whatnot. I'm sure you guys can figure it out. There's a lot of great characters in this game, but the top 3 probably most mandatory, if we were to say that there is such a thing as a mandatory, because we have content that can be so specific for certain characters with Porcelain Tower and whatnot. I would probably say that Elena, given her global history, Black Witch Helena, because she's just all around fantastic. It's been over a year and she's getting her master ability this month. I want to say that Lord Mont, Joom, or Charlotte, some kind of combination of a tank generally in there. And, you know, just overall, Cloud maybe. But Astrius is definitely one of the characters that I think is probably the highest recommendation I can give to. He's just served me so well for so many months so far. He's not slowing down. And, you know, you can build a really great TMR weapon for him, like O's Katana, which is the thing I do have on my character, which gives an extra human killer, which makes him even deadlier in PvP. I mean, he has a great little weapon of his own, but you can just do really good here and give some AP generation, more HP, more water resistance, potentially against his own counters, just all protection, some reaction block. And it's worked out really good. So yeah, best of luck, I guess, is the only thing I can say at the end of the day. It's a hard character to miss out on. You will get more opportunities in the future, but honestly, I'd be hard-pressed to say that you shouldn't just. So, shut up, Umbra. Go try and pull him. Best of luck to you guys. Except for Diggs. Diggs, I cursed your polls a couple weeks ago because you got way too lucky with Esther, and I look forward to seeing if that curse holds up. Thanks for watching. See you next time.